Oh boy, Ellen, we're back, and here we're getting ready to go with something that I'm always most worried about is that I usually don't like to work for lawyers. I don't like to talk to them much, even though Troy's a lawyer.
I used to be afraid of them.
Of course I am. Always afraid of them. You know why?
Because they're going to sue you for everything.
Everything. You're going to sue you for everything, and they're smarter than you because they've read all those damn books. And you know they're going to figure out a way to take every word you say and twist it.
And the only thing I got is my cousin Vinny.
And you know what?
Yeah.
That's all I can remember is my cousin Vinny and the Utes.
Yeah.
But no, we've got a great episode today. We've got somebody that I've known for quite a while. Jen Gore Cuthbert of Atlanta Personal Injury Law is here. And I knew her before it was Atlanta Personal Injury Law. And that's what we're going to talk about is not only is she a lawyer, she is an entrepreneur. And I think she'd always had that entrepreneurial spirit. But when I met her, we met in B&I doing the networking, which we've talked about before. And I did the old one-to-one coffee clutch. And she's like, come over to the office. I go there. And it was not even talking about business or networking. It was all talking about business. It was talking about how are you going to grow your business? How are you going to scale your business? Here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to go to this seminar. I'm going to do that. I'm like, man, this chick's got it going on. She's not just some lawyer.
And she might not sue me.
And that's all I was doing. The whole time I was waiting to go, like, am I about to get sued? Am I about to get sued? So we have Jen Gore Cuthbert of Atlanta Personal Injury Law with us today. Welcome. And we're looking forward to talking with you today.
Thanks so much for having me. I feel like that was forever ago that we went out for that one-on-one. I think you were at my office and
before it was named today.
Yeah, that had to be more than 5 years ago, right?
It has to be way more than 5. Yeah. It's been quite a while since we talked. So I got to see this, but before we go into all of that transformation that she's
having a bourbon with us.
And that's right. We always start every episode with cheers. And today, what are we drinking, people?
Cheers. Cheers.
This is your bourbon.
Yeah, I know.
Rabbit Hole Box Grail Kentucky Straight Rye.
I went for the rye. Yep. I know. I want to try it.
It's delicious.
It is, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
See, Rabbit Hole, you should be sponsoring us. I don't know why you're not. I mean, for the love of God, we have you guys on all the time. We put it out there. We're always looking for sponsorship. Monday Night Brewing is coming in because we drink their beer all the time too. So,
well, now that I know that you're really big on the bourbon, I have to hook you up. You know, my husband works in the industry.
Oh, he does. This whole thing is set up to get your husband on the podcast.
Yeah, he can get you anything you want.
Okay. Oh, now we're talking.
Look at the twinkle in your eye, Chris.
In fact, I think we're shutting this podcast down and we're going.
We'll start.
Angus, you're up next, buddy.
Yeah, he would love to talk.
Your husband's name is Angus, and he's in the whiskey industry. That is.
What's his last name though? Because Gore Cuthbert.
So actually, his full name is Angus Ellsworth Cuthbert Payne.
Holy cow!
How regal!
That's very Scottish, right?
God,
right?
Fantastic.
Was he born here in the U.S.?
Yes.
Wow.
And it's so funny because like his sister and brother's names are James and Jessica. And
he gets Angus.
Like, what happened here?
So what do his parents call him? Angus or
Gus?
Do they really Gus?
Gus. Nice. Yeah. But they went full blown Scottish on his name.
Yeah, they did. They took it right down. That's what they've often joked. My dad always said, if I wasn't born around St. Patrick's Day, my name would have been Giovanni Giuseppe Lalvani. And my mother was like, "Oh no, that's how it happened." So,
thanks, Mom.
Yeah, you know what? Thank you, Mom. Looking up at heaven. Yes, you saved me with Christopher Patrick, which is the only Irish thing that's even close to my family because I was born the day before. All right,
what clan is he in?
I don't know. He would know, but he's got all kinds of Scottish.
We might be cousins.
The name Angus is like John there. It's a very common name there.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Angus is just a regular old name there.
I know, and he hates it because people will call him like Agnes.
Oh, that's not cool.
You should.
That's a key way to trigger him.
Oh, that's funny too. And I've only met him. I think I met him once.
He's like 6'6" or 6'7".
I'm just imagining him as a character in Braveheart.
Yeah, no, he's a big dude, man. Yeah, no, he's a big dude. But I've met him once. Really, outgoing, nice guy. Great. So, but back to Jen, why we're here. So that's why we're here. Talk about this.
You're looking at me like this is all my fault.
Well, I'm blaming you right
now.
Well, you were about to start. You were getting into the clans.
We're going straight into the bourbon.
I know, because we throw rocks at other people for fun.
Throw it and paint in his face and yelling "freedom," which I've done with Alan before. All right. So Jen, you started off in this career, but let's talk a little bit about that. So you're growing up in high school. You go to college. Did you always want to be a lawyer?
No.
What were you going to be?
That's why I feel like I'm the untraditional lawyer.
Well, and I want to just butt in because I know your
Yeah.
bio and I'm not going to steal it.
Okay.
But I think most lawyers I know start because family tradition or, hey, there's a lot of money in it.
That wasn't my driving force.
Hmm.
I'm the first lawyer in my family. Nobody else was a lawyer. But my parents were entrepreneurial. My dad is an entrepreneur, and I grew up in New York. And that's like, you know, the spirit of entrepreneurship is there, you know. And I was in business school, in fact, in college. I had no plans to become a lawyer. And in fact, my dad used to say, like, it doesn't matter what you get a degree in, business would be the best one, but you're going to work for yourself. So it doesn't really matter.
Really? So your dad and your mom were really pushing you on the entrepreneurial. I mean, even as you're growing up, high school, college, you're thinking, I'm doing my own thing anyway.
100%. I used to go to work with my dad.
Now, what did he do?
So he's a serial entrepreneur. So he had a lot of different businesses over the years. When I was a kid, he started his first business when he was 18. And he didn't even go to college. I mean, he tells me he went to college for a semester, but he got kicked out. But then he just started his own business when he was 18, and he started a commercial cleaning company. And he lived at home, and he became like really successful, where he was like one of the bigger guys in the market. And then he got into like tons of other businesses. So he got into real estate. I remember he had a pager company, he had a travel agency, he had like a lot of different businesses, but there's the few that I think like became the most successful. And then he retired at like 43.
Oh yeah, retired at 43. Boy, that's a little younger than us, Alan.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I started my business.
I hope
at
I can
37.
retire when I'm 43.
Yeah.
So this is my
That ship has sailed, Mo. That ship has sailed. Oh my God.
He liquidated all of his businesses. You know, at that time he had been in business for 22 years or whatever. He liquidated all of his businesses into real estate only. So he had bought an apartment building when we were like, when I was, I don't know, 12 or I don't remember what age. And then, you know, he was really smart with how he ran apartment buildings, and he ended up liking that business the most. So he was able to live off of all the passive income of his rentals, and he just didn't want to live in New York anymore. So he moved to Florida.
Oh boy. So did you grow up in New York? You stayed?
I grew up in New York. My senior year of high school, he retired and moved to Florida.
So did you stay or finish in Florida?
I was forced to go to Florida for 1 year.
Oh,
No way.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
No,
All right.
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest. All right. And so I guess the younger ones have to be brothers.
All sisters.
All girls. And so he stuck it to the oldest girl.
So
Wow.
no, he just was like, it actually had to happen. You know, my whole life, he's one of those people who's never happy. So he was always wanting to move to Florida. And so it just happened to work out where he sold our house 3 weeks before 9/11.
Oh,
We
wow.
moved to Florida 3 weeks before 9. I don't know, had he waited, we could have sold that house just because of the events that later took place.
Wow.
But it was good. It forced me out of my comfort zone. I was really pissed when
I bet.
it happened.
Yeah, I can only imagine a teenage daughter. If I would have done that to my daughter,
I would recommend
I
it.
wish our listeners could see just the fiery look in her eyes. And I'm
Right.
thinking, I'm imagining myself as a jury right now, and I'm just withering.
As a proud father of a 24-year-old daughter, if I would have done that to her, and Alan
it would be
knows her,
more than do better.
I would have gotten a lot more than do better.
I left.
I would have been sleeping with one eye open.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. I left as soon as I graduated. I went back to college in New York.
So you went back up.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school?
In not too far from where I'm originally from.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, you guys can go to Florida. I'm going back.
All right. That was your rebellious.
You
know what?
I was very rebellious.
Yeah.
I was very rebellious. As much as I, love my dad. I mean, I was a very independent, spirited kid. And I mean, I drove my parents absolutely insane.
Yeah. I can only tell.
Yeah. How'd you end up in Georgia?
So I lived in New York for a while. I went to college there, and I then, started my life as an adult in New York, and it was very challenging. I mean, a lot of bad things happened to me in New York. I was in a really bad car accident. My boyfriend, that I had broken up with, but was with for a long time, died in a motorcycle accident. My employer stole my identity and I was sued for like over $100,000. So like all this stuff, I had to hire a bunch of lawyers, and I was like, I feel like the universe wants me to be a lawyer. And I really, at that point, wasn't set on what type of business I was going to have. I just knew I wanted to have my own business.
I was thinking, actually, the universe was telling you to be a country singer, right?
Yes.
Oh my God. I mean, do you hear those 3 life events that happened?
Yeah.
And by the time she was, what, 24, 25?
21.
21.
My boss stole my identity isn't very catchy tune though, Chris.
It's not?
No.
I can't
You know, I could see this being a country song.
Right. I think so. I think Luke Combs, we got something, huh? We
Yeah.
could do that. Or
And
Chris
it's
Jansen, buy
hard.
me a boat.
It was not fun. And
No,
I
that's not
think
fun.
that
You're
a
right.
lot of entrepreneurs or people that are successful, it's because you had like gone through something kind of bad. Like, because you kind of have to be resilient to be an entrepreneur.
Kind of a
100%.
motivator.
There's your golden nugget
Yeah.
right there. I think we talked about this before. You want to be an entrepreneur. It sounds sexy. It sounds awesome, right?
It's hard.
But it is, man. It is hard, right? I mean, you can see it right in your eyes. But you have to be resilient, and you prove resilience early on. And you had this. So all this happens to you in New York, and you didn't have that family network.
Well, you know, my parents, as much so, my dad was successful, but he was kind of old school, and I'm so grateful for this now. Like, you know, he made me get a job when I was 14. We had money, but he would always tell me like, my money ain't your money.
Whoa.
That sound familiar, Chris?
No, actually, that's what my daughter says to me. Hey,
My money ain't your money.
Yeah, she's 24 and she's back here. No, I keep joking about that. But yeah, well, there you go. My money ain't your money.
And my
No.
dad would always say, like, whatever you do is going to be on you. My greatest fear for you is you're not going to do as well as I did. And so he always set that into my mind. Like, I better like understand, like
That
I
is
got to work.
intense.
I
I mean, he
that's
just
really
lowered the
intense.
boom on you.
Wow.
Yeah. And,
That's,
you know,
that's New York love, right?
he would
there.
also,
That is New York love.
yes,
That's right.
he would also say things though, like, you know, you could do anything. You could be an Olympian. You could be the president. Like, he always thought I could do anything, which made me think I could do anything. Right.
So he instilled. So I think there are 2 great lessons there that I talk about with my kids too. And by the way, one of my children wants to be a lawyer. I can't stop him from that. But
Would be good for you.
Actually,
there, Chris.
there's a lot. Well, actually, it's going to be very good for me because
I think it'd be good for you.
driving home from the Braves game last night, I'm glad I had my lawyer son with me, or not yet, but it would. No, I was not driving drunk. I was fine. I didn't drink. Stop.
Oh,
that.
you're
When you look at
glad
it-
your son was in the car with you in case you got pulled over?
Yeah,
It's
Oh,
like having
like
a
he-
protector.
that's what I got. Man, hey, when I'm riding with Troy, I'm like, Troy,
Man, you were grasping at straws.
hey,
He hasn't even gone to law school yet.
I know. Hey, well,
You'll feel better when he has a JD.
Alan, you partied with me enough, big boy. You know that straws are everything I grasp for. So here we go. All right. So back to, but I think there are 2 great life lessons there. You know, the father said, you know, you got to be on your own 2 feet. You got to be accountable. You're going to be an independent, strong girl. But I believe in you, and I believe that you can be anything.
Mhm.
And I think that you could see it in her eyes too. And my parents were the same way. My mom was you can do anything you want. My dad was like, you better get your butt to work.
Work ethic. I think that's like one of the things we're missing today. And it's just such a shame, because I think if there's one skill you can like have, it's work ethic, because you could do anything if you can work. I mean,
We just did this in training this morning. We 10 things you can do that don't cost you a dime. Show up on time, do a good job, follow through, do your job. I mean, it's
be
like,
professional.
yeah, right. All this stuff. And we did this for all of our handymen. And so you hit on it. And so you did it.
Work ethic.
Yeah.
And in this market, if you have a work ethic, you will rise to the top, because it's unfortunately just missing for so many people.
Yeah, by comparison, you're a
You're a
rock
star.
Yeah, absolutely.
I tell young people that all the time. It's so easy to be successful right now. It's actually like the key trick right now is that when you see a lot of people out there that aren't playing all in, this is like a prime opportunity. Like back in the day when everyone was working their ass off, it was hard to stand out. But now, so easy to stand out.
How about that move right there?
She's 100% right. I
This-
mean, it's ridiculous.
Isn't
I tell that to my sons all the time. I'm like, you think it's you versus how many ever billion people there are in the world? It's not. Because all you have to do is just show up and be nice, smile,
Yeah.
good eye contact.
And that's not what this podcast is about.
You just
you got to rock it.
You eliminated 7 billion people.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
So Alan asked that question. That's how we got here. So we got some great gold nuggets out of that. You ended up in Georgia.
Are you saying that was a great question?
It was a good setup. Let's land the plane, shall we? How'd you get to Georgia?
I got to Georgia for law school.
So did you know anybody here?
No, but my dad had a friend that was from our town in Poughkeepsie, and he had come to Georgia during like the 90s, around when the Olympics were here. And he was another entrepreneur, and he was really successful in Atlanta. So I had looked at a couple other areas. In fact, I applied to multiple law schools and I did not get in New York. And I applied to some schools in Florida, and I did get into some in Florida, but I didn't want to live in Florida. My parents lived there. I just didn't love it. And so Georgia to me felt, when we toured, like more of a city, like New York, like it felt more like a city versus Florida. And I wanted to be closer to my parents after, living away from them for so long. It was always flying back and forth. So I thought Georgia was like a good middle ground, but I only knew one person here, but he was really successful. So
nice. So you came here, you got your law degree here in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
You knew one person, and that's exactly what I did to go get my master's degree. I went to North Carolina at Charlotte, and I knew my aunt's parents. That's all I knew. And I could have gone, yeah, of course. And I've told the story before. I could have gone to Georgia Tech, which is the 4th best engineering school in the nation, which I had no business getting into, but I got into. But no, I went to UNC Charlotte, and including the lifelong bad decisions I made. Of course, I have
grew
a family.
up here.
No, I grew up in Michigan originally.
So I think there's something for value to go out of where you're born.
100%. I agree. And making that move, I was the independent person too. I was like, I'll do that. I put everything I had in an S10 Blazer, including my motorcycle.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah. So think about that. I had my motorcycle
It's
in my
this-
S10
it's
Blazer
sideways.
and my food
Right.
and my clothes. And I'm driving down to see my aunt's parents, who I've never met in my life, who said, you can come stay with us. And they were Southern raised, and bobcaps and Miro caps.
What part of Michigan are you from?
I'm from Jackson, Middle, and then I went to school up in the UP, where
Got
we get,
it.
yeah. So I can turn
I've
on
been
the
up in
Newport.
Michigan a lot lately, actually.
Have you?
Yeah, one of my mentors is up there.
Well, as Alan knows, because he went to college there too, that is really God's country.
I never
people.
said that.
Great people from
He's from
Michigan.
Oregon, he hates it. I said Michigan that's the mother country. So I grew up there, but yeah.
I actually was just there maybe a month ago, and we toured the original Ford factory. And
Cool,
it was
right?
such a cool experience. And we saw where the original first highway was. And we got a behind the scenes tour of them making all the Raptors. It was just so
That's
cool.
super
That's
fun.
way
Yeah.
cooler than
Yeah.
I got. So I grew up making parts, and so in high school I was working in a machine shop making parts for the automotive industry. And I said at 17, that's what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to make parts. When I'm 35, I'm going to have a 50-person machine shop making parts for the automotive industry, and that's what I'm going to do.
There's such a passion for entrepreneurship there, and for the American ingenuity of Ford embedded in that culture, which I was able to kind of really see.
Manufacturing.
It's
manufacturing.
That's all I knew.
Systems, processes, that is what I took away from that trip. Have you been up there recently?
Well, so my wife's family's from up there. We met in Charlotte, North Carolina, but my wife's from an hour north of Detroit. I'm from 30 minutes west of Detroit. And so we're only an hour and a half away from each other, as it turns out. But
you have family still up there.
I do. Well, actually, my brother's over in Kalamazoo, Portage now. My dad splits time between Jackson, and then her whole family is in North Detroit, which is GM country, by the way. So Detroit's even further split. Ford's in the south,
Then
and
you got
GM's in the
GM.
south, in the north, and then Dodge has moved around. The Dodge brothers were everywhere, but it's fascinating country, and of course, I
It's
think
so
it's
crazy.
country.
One of my mentors is Mike Morse, who is the largest PI firm in Michigan.
Thank God I don't know him.
Yeah, but so
he might know you, Chris.
he's up there. He's got 170 employees, and he's got 1,000 billboards or something.
Okay. So I grew up in Jackson, which is called the prison city, because that's where the state prison is. So I've often told people that's the joke, is that we moved there for my dad.
Hopefully
Yeah.
for him to work there.
Right. Not to be incarcerated. Okay.
Yeah. So I love Michigan. I've come to love it. I really knew nothing about it till I went up there, but great people, really awesome people.
Yeah. So Alan grew up in Oregon, and he thinks Oregon and the West Coast is just the bomb, the be
Pacific
all and all.
North.
Oh my gosh, Pacific Northwest, blah 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 blah. I lived out there for 3 years, but he went to school in Calvin, in Michigan. But
Yeah,
it's not
He
about
chose to come to Michigan, though.
That's right, baby.
I was sent there.
He was sent there. All right, let's get back to you, Jen. So you
Yeah.
graduated. You're here, and
I
you got
went
out,
to night law school,
and you were working. while you
working
went
as a case manager, paralegal, receptionist in a personal injury firm during the day.
wow.
So I got accepted into the day program, but when they told me I couldn't work, that was sacrilegious. So
when you went to law school, were you thinking because of your life experiences to
immediately,
go,
yes.
to go into the vertical that you're in?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That was a key advantage. So like,
So you knew right when you went to law school.
I'm just here to
you're-
get the license. I know what I'm going to
Damn,
do.
girl. I like
You
that.
know?
How you've not heard that?
It's
How
like
many lawyers
it's like
have
she
you heard?
had a list. I'm going to get you when I
Yeah.
get this degree.
Dude, I love
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Because I started the law from the day I got my license.
Really?
You didn't go to work for anybody else.
I'd already been working people for 4 years. I don't
Screw
need
it, baby. I'm going down myself. All right. Did you build a business plan? Did you have the whole thing? You just said, no, screw this. I'm going to do this.
At that point, I had been working in a couple of different law firms, and I had the fortunate luck that I worked for some people that let me do things they probably shouldn't have let me do. So I
AKA
felt
lawyers.
like, hey, if I'm doing all this, I can figure the rest out, you know. But also,
So that means no business plan, Chris.
I know. I got that.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we can talk about the idea of a business plan. I obviously have one now, but I do think people get really hung up on that when a business plan can be something super simple as something on a napkin, you know.
All right. So I'm a big fan, but I do remember going to your office and we talked about this because your first business, your first company. So you go out there, you set up an LLC, you put the shingle out, and the
Mhm.
shingle's name was
The Gore Law Firm.
the Gore Law Firm. Really catchy. But she says, no, she's already shaking
There's
her
a
head.
lot of marketing
wait for it.
implications there.
Wait for
we
it.
will go.
I didn't like it. Well, and the other thing is, you know, my name is technically Gore Cuthbert because my maiden name was Gore. And like I told you, my husband's parents took each other's names. So he had two last names, Cuthbert Payne. So when we got married, I had the option to be Gore Payne.
Oh, that would have been perfect. Can you see that on a billboard, Chris?
Oh,
Come
that's
on.
even better. Come on. I got marketing shit coming out of my ears right now. Gore Payne. You go with me, Gore Payne.
I know. I was thinking I could be a wrestler with that name.
God. Can you imagine the other attorneys going, who am I up against? Gore Payne.
You know what? It was a huge mistake. Huge mistake.
Oh my God. That'd be hilarious. And I would have hired the biggest MFer I could find. I'm like, dude, you're just going in. What am I to do? You're just going to look pretty.
Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. T.
You just go in, Mr. T, you just go. And here we are. Gore Payne.
Yes. I mean, it should have been, it's a huge
Those
missed
other little
opportunity.
wussy lawyers.
It's not too late, Jennifer.
But, you know, I always thought as a marketer, nobody knows what the hell Gore Law Firm does. I mean, period. So
hilarious.
trade name.
I love that. I know it. You did.
Trade name.
You did. You went trade name. All right. So we're gonna get back to the serious part of it. I gotta go back to it one more time. You want to settle? Yeah, I think we'll settle. Yeah, I think you should.
That's right.
Or Payne, because it's coming. You put him on the top rope. Put him in like the.
I'm going to
rust-
change my
Mexican
name after
rustler
this
match.
interview today.
I think I got it. I think we already figured out how to market
Yeah.
your firm. We'll put the Mexican rustler mask on there and the Gore Payne Law Firm. John Foy, I'm coming for you.
You know, it's a
strong
much
arm my
better
ass.
name than the Foy name. So
Right.
I know, but I didn't really want to live with that name on a day-to-day basis.
All right. So you did. So you did.
Gore was hard enough. Okay, let's just say that.
Fair enough.
We won't get into all the jokes that go with that name.
Oh my
Gore Payne would have been pushing it. Angus tells me all the names he was called.
Oh,
But I think a trade name, when you drive by the Moore firm or the Smith firm or whatever, no one knows what the hell they do. Period.
bingo, bango, bongo. That's why I remember that's
Did you just
when we
say
met.
bingo, bango, bango?
Yeah, baby. Hey, I'm on.
Lord.
Hey, how old am I? Call me Charles. Call me Charles.
I don't know.
Here we go.
Need to take a moment.
Huh? Please, no. We're gonna keep going. I'm on a roll.
Do you have a virtual drum?
Huh? I need one of those. We need more sound effects, don't we, Alan?
Apparently so.
You know what?
Oh, yeah.
We could probably do. So I do remember when I first met you, it was not Atlanta
Yeah.
personal injury law. You were talking about your vision for your business. So you go into business, okay, maybe with or without a business plan. I'm a big fan of a business plan done the right way, not done for the A paper, not done for the
Right.
Because people use that as an excuse to never start their business.
I agree with that 100%.
And
that's a great call.
Also, it's going to probably not work out how you originally mapped out, and you're going to be able to pivot.
That's
away
why it's
from
a living document.
Yes.
Which is still in my office in the red folder. And by the way,
When's the last time you looked at it?
I looked at it last year.
Good.
But I didn't touch it. Okay. I mean, I didn't update it, but I often said, I was going to evaluate going franchise.
You looked at it last year like, oh, there's that damn business plan.
I did. No, I looked at it last year like, you know what? I can bring that up in the podcast. And I keep bringing it up. No.
It sounds very good.
It does.
Business plan.
It sounds so cool, right?
Yes.
It's like hire slow, fire slowly. Or hire fast. Fire slow. No, the other way.
Yeah, fire slow, fire quick.
It doesn't matter because I do the exact opposite. I'm like, you know what, consultant, you shove it, because in my business, can you breathe? Can you fog a mirror and you're not on meth? Let's go.
Well, and also you can't have that mentality in certain labor markets. I mean, you can't have hire slow when it's a really tight market for hiring. I mean, you'll miss all the candidates.
Yeah, my business plan did say I was going to hire the best candidates possible. The whole thing, it was like
you just scratched through that one.
Oh, the whole thing. I mean, my original interview tactics were all based on my consulting background, which was behavioral interviewing, right? I'm hiring for a handyman.
Tell me about a time.
Oh, yeah. Right. And let's pull that thread and let's keep going down. And these guys would tell you everything, right? And you bring them out there and you're like, do you even know which end is the hammer? And
so you didn't hire for skill.
Oh my God. So then, and I'm pretty handy. So here's how my hiring process went, is that I go meet them somewhere. If they actually looked the part and could show up the next morning, they worked with me. And if I could see that they could work, then I go, okay, we got something to work with. And that's to this day, we do all of that. And then they come in for culture training with me.
So the guy who's building my deck.
The guys who are building your deck have been with me for 10 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how it started.
But he's not on meth.
Not today.
Okay.
I can't say tomorrow though, because I'm telling you
that my dad always tells me, oh, you have no idea how hard it is to run a business because you got administratives, you have lawyers, you have professionals. He's like, I had the bottom of the barrel. I had people that were just got out of jail, because a lot of businesses, it's a different market. I mean, he was hiring cleaners.
Yeah, it's a tough business. It's all up and down the board. It's still the same pain. It's just different
issues in different types of people you're hiring.
All right. So as you went to scale, I always, I like I said, I went to talk to you and we were meeting and we were starting to talk about the business, and I could see that you were very thoughtful about the scaling part. As you thought about your scaling, how were you thinking about that?
So when we got the trade name, I was shocked that it was available, but
that is a really good point.
We were probably one of the first firms to do it because we found a loophole. You really weren't supposed to do it.
What do you mean?
You were supposed to have your last name in your business name as a lawyer.
What?
Yeah.
Is that a rule?
Yeah, it was a
back
rule.
To Gore pain.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So I found a loophole, and basically then I had a fight with a bunch of lawyers that kept reporting me to the bar for doing this trade name.
No shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but that's like,
did you take him down?
Oh, I knew I only had to deal with the bar, and I knew that I had the loophole. So
all right, so let's go back to this again. The rule is you have to have your name in the law firm.
Yeah, they don't want lawyers to have businesses where you don't know who owns the law firm.
Well, Morgan & Morgan isn't doing shit in Atlanta. I mean, not. Yeah,
but just
French. I'm like, are you talking about French? This is Chris talk.
So,
I mean, they're out of Florida, man.
So
but
much
if
for
you
Morgan
want
& Morgan
sue them,
being our
you know
sponsor.
who's the owner.
Oh,
right.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start the Gore Payne law firm. And we're just gonna bring it. We're just gonna bring.
And then you can't do that. So that's another rule. You can't do a name
rules.
that you can't do a name that makes you look like a law firm if you're not a lawyer.
Damn it.
And then there's another rule that says you can't use someone else's name if it's not your name as a lawyer.
So if we set up Gore Payne,
isn't that insane?
And then just every case we get, we just give to Jennifer. Doesn't that work?
Well, I don't know, but can we still wear the Mexican masks that come in?
Yes, you can.
That's all I really want to do. I mean,
you guys
let's get down to it.
You can't risk losing a license, so
That's right. So, oh my God, this goes back. I'm listening to the Benjamin Franklin book, the Isaacson biography on him, and he does a great job. It's amazing what this guy did, but it just shows you how many of our the stuff that here today was here 250 years ago, not 200.
100%.
Yeah. So all right. So
one thing that I do find annoying about being a lawyer and owning a law business, which is what you guys kind of just hit on, is there's a lot of lawyer rules that inhibit some of the things we might do as business people. So you can't cold call.
You can't cold call?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
That's why you have the billboards.
That's your cold. That's why you see what you see, because lawyers are prevented under ethical rules from calling people. But can you imagine if you just mentioned to someone casually, you're thinking about getting a divorce, and
Or
you
I
had
just got in a
500
wreck.
lawyers cold calling you?
okay. I see that. But how about
He said, okay, I see that.
I see
It could go bad.
it could go bad. But you get an accident, they call them the ambulance chasers, right? That's
But
the bad way of saying personal injury
That's
law.
kind of a misnomer. I mean, that doesn't really happen. I mean, there are some lawyers out there doing some really unethical things, even though there's rules against it. But you would be very turned off if someone in your family died and you had a probate or a wills attorney calling you around the clock when you're grieving, saying, I want to probate the estate. I want to probate the estate. Like the idea is these are sensitive matters and people should be the one to initiate the contact for the legal services.
But she's got this down. And this is why her marketing, because we're going to get into this in a minute.
Every once in a while, the government does do something
Sketchy.
No, I was going to say,
that's
actually,
that's actually 99% of the time. But
I'm actually kind of thankful for that because
he's happy that we were not allowed to call people.
Well, and so I used to be in franchising, for example, and
you don't want door-to-door lawyers.
back in the day in franchising, you could just promise the world, and it was a complete load of crap. And so the government stepped in, and I'm not a big government guy, but just every once in a while they do something right.
You're starting to sound like one there.
Let me tell you,
wow.
It's lawyers that wrote these rules. And sometimes I think that it's just people that are not really business people that wrote some of these rules.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely anti-business. I mean, looking back, seeing it now, you're right. But anti-business, if you said, hey, if I just casually told my neighbor that I had a leak in the house and needed a handyman to come help fix the stuff.
You're not allowed to mention.
And but I'm not allowed to cold call you. I'm like, hey, I heard your neighbor.
But you're probably not grieving.
Oh, that's
I mean, I know it's bad.
Well,
but
there's
you're not grieving.
See, there's the reason I'm in my business, because nobody's going to die with the shit I'm doing. That's why I picked this stuff. I mean, it's just drywall, baby. It's just drywall. Okay, yeah. I'll fix it.
So there is that. And then the best way to refer someone if they were in that situation is say, hey, my friend mentioned they need a divorce. You say, hey, do you want me to send you to a lawyer? And then you three-way email the lawyer and the person. Then that opens up, the person's now agreed to kind of be contacted.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it is a barrier this is why lawyers have to be so outrageously aggressive in their marketing, because we can't cold call.
All right. So let's talk about this. Outrageously aggressive.
Yeah. And it is disgusting.
All right.
It's crazy, right?
But let's go back to small businesses, right? And so I'm in the handyman business. When we say outrageously aggressive, how much is Morgan & Morgan? How much is, pick the biggest East, I only know the guys on the East Coast, Morgan & Morgan, John Foy, he's here in Atlanta. Nugent, who's in here in Atlanta. And by the way, lived in my neighborhood.
There you go. Your neighbor.
Yeah. Well, I keep good company. All right. But who's the other big ones?
There's Bader.
We shouldn't talk about our competition.
No,
yeah, I mean,
they suck. No, they suck.
Listen, there's a lot of big law firms here in Atlanta. There's in any of the bigger cities, there's a lot of big law firms.
I didn't mean they suck. Don't come after me. Everybody
they might sue you now.
Put your 500 lawyers back in your pocket, because I know how many guys.
He's already said John Morgan.
Yeah. Well, he did not say that. Hey, John, I think you're the best ever. Just between you and me, don't tell John that. Okay. All right. But let's talk about it. So, because I have a little inside knowledge on this. So let's talk about marketing budgets, right? We have revenues, we have marketing budgets. We all have to set a percentage for what we want to do and where our marketing goes in any business we are, whether you're hanging out a shingle to produce ham sandwiches, handyman businesses, or law firms. How much are you putting, and you can do percentages. I don't want to give all the stuff away. How much do you do in marketing every month?
So we are spending between 25 and 30%.
Okay. How much do we think Morgan & Morgan and all these other guys are doing?
Well, actually, So if you do the analysis on this, it depends on what level of growth you're in. So if you're in a high growth mode, you're going to spend more. Traditionally, a lot of people in my industry are trying to spend 20% or less. But if you really want to push, you're going to go 25, 30. When you get bigger, you have more scales of economy, right? So if you're in a more like, we're trying to grow at 100% a year. And I don't think John Morgan's growing at that rate. He's growing pretty fast, but I don't think he's growing doubling, So the percentages look higher when you're in a high growth mode.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. So she's definitely, that's high, it's high spend. So just put that away, right? If you're in the home service business, you're listening to this or you're thinking, you're like, all right, but dude, I'm going to do $500,000 this year in gross revenue. You're telling me I'm going to put 25% away? Not in our business, but if you want to double and you want to be in the business that Jen has gotten into, the answer is yes. And she's not talking about $1 million, bro. She's talking about a lot more than that. And we don't have to talk about numbers. We don't have to get into that. But the point is, people always ask that. You're like, hey, what's your gross profit? Oh, how much should you spend? And everybody uses these numbers. And then when you throw out a number, especially in some stupid Facebook group, and these guys just absolutely assail you.
Totally different markets.
In totally different markets, totally different businesses, and they just absolutely assail you. You're like, dude, you don't even know what I'm doing. Like, especially in the handyman. I'm up against 1 and 2 guy handymans, in these Facebook groups. And I'm like, what do you spend? I'm like, I spend right now, I'm going to be 4.5% this year.
You're spending 4.5%. I want to cry. I wish
I know.
Spend 4.5%.
I know.
And I'm thinking about you spending this huge amount of money. And if I'm not mistaken, sometimes you take on cases where if you don't win.
All of our cases are, we fund them until we win.
Right.
So contingent sale.
High risk.
You've got that.
High risk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually,
Chris is breaking out in a beat of sweat.
I am too.
This business model is not for the faint of heart.
So this
it's not.
Then I'm thinking about you're spending 25-30%. You may not make a dime on the thing. You may actually spend a ton of money. So this puts a ton of pressure on whoever answers your phone.
Oh, we have an entire intake team, 24/7. We have an intake manager. We have multiple people. There's a whole.
But they got to be good.
All right, so let's talk about that. Yeah. So you spend that, because I wanted to get to this, because that's what's cool about this is that I don't care what business you're in. She said 25%. I said 4.5. She goes, I want to cry. No, don't cry, because my average ticket is $3,000. So it's small.
You're the overall service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's gross revenue. So so you spend the money, you go out there and you find it, but you're not doing billboards. I've been looking.
I have a couple billboards.
I've seen one.
Yeah,
I've not seen near, because it's so saturated here in Atlanta. And so what are you doing to penetrate in a different way? Because I've seen some really cool things that you're doing.
So we do a lot of different things. We probably have 22 different marketing channels. So I always think it's good to be diversified. We are really big on social media. If that's one of the things you're talking about, we do a video every day, if not 2. We do a lot of ads with social media, organic stuff. We do SEO, we do pay-per-click, we do newsletter, we do an entire what we call back.
She's doing what I'm talking about. This is where you get smart. So she says, oh my God, I'm spending a ton. All right. Those guys are spending way more tons, right? But they're doing advertising, right? They're on the TV, they're on the radio. You don't see her much on the radio. You don't see her much on the TV. I will tell you, of course, I'm in Jen's universe, so I get a lot of stuff. But I will tell you, I'm not looking for personal injury law at all.
Well, I don't think anybody is until it happens.
You need it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
However, here's what I get. I get a little bit of her personally and her personality. Okay. So I get to know her, but I've already known her personally. But I'm watching, like, being the guy looking from the outside. I see her personally
on social media. You mean?
Yep. Mm-hmm. I see the group she's growing. I see her promoting one of her lawyers that has just joined the firm. Mm-hmm. I see her doing that. Then I get her newsletter in my email. Do I look at her newsletter? Well, fuck no, because I'm busy, right? I'm
it's
busy.
Just staying top of mind.
But you expect us to look at your newsletter?
You all better be looking at my newsletter's awesome.
But this is like the velvet hammer. It's just many small touches.
And so I see her newsletter, and then I go out, a little bit of social media, a little bit of this. So she's talked about 22 marketing channels. Mm-hmm. You can't wrap your head around that, people. You can't do that
I can't even
yourself.
think of 22 marketing channels.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and if you have a heavy referral business, which we also started the whole business on referrals, and I think we shouldn't ever get away from that, even when we do advertising, because some of your best business comes from referrals. You should have a systematic way of keeping in touch with your referrals, thanking your referrals, because for us, our current clients also refer us a lot of business, and our past clients. So once their case is over, we really don't see them again. Similar to you, you might have a project, and how do you maintain top of mind awareness? Because once that deck is built, when are you going to see them again? And
Right.
so we have newsletter, but we also have, you can cold call your prior clients.
So I can. Actually,
I can too.
Oh, can
Oh,
you
you
really?
can.
Oh, lawyers
Partner
can too.
clients.
Because
So-
we've already
Jen,
established a relationship.
Let me tell you one of the best things I do. I like to stalk them. I just like I park right in front of their driveway, and they're getting out in the morning to get the kids out.
Hey.
I'm like, oh, hey, I didn't know you guys were here. Well, your truck's right in my way. I'm like, oh, hey. No, I'm kidding.
Chris can throw a brick through your window and then send you a flyer.
Actually,
Hey,
I got a better one, Ellen.
Oh, that's funny.
I've lived on a golf course for 22 years.
Throw golf balls.
Check this out. I have never, in my memory, hit a window. I played last Thursday,
You hit somebody's window.
right through the window. I come up, and they are yelling at me.
You're like, but I can fix it.
That's right.
No, they're yelling at me. How could you have done this? I finally looked at them and said, because I'm a shitty golfer.
Honesty.
I mean, seriously, they're yelling at me. I'm like, I'll get this fixed. And I did. We had it fixed on, 2 days later. But it was so funny. But that's the first window I broke that I know
So
of.
if I'm you, I would just be spraying wildly off the tee every day.
All right, so here's one more story. So I played a charity golf event, right? I'm playing with these guys. They're 1 and -2 handicaps, which means they're really good golfers, and me. Because my buddy says, hey, you sponsored the event. Would you want to play with these guys?
Hey.
Well, and you
So-
kind of help.
and I did.
You help.
And by the way,
the handicap a little bit.
And I did. Well,
Yeah.
I did. It was admit about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, I paid a ton of money for the tournament for CHOA, for Children's Healthcare of Atlanta,
There
which
you
I'm a big fan of.
Big fan.
Yep.
Very
huge
nice.
fan. Yep. They do a great
Love
job.
that you do that.
So I get to play with these guys. But I'm playing with these young guys, and I'm old, and I hit the ball, and it goes right. It's not the slice; it's the whole pie.
Did you see it
goes
all the way
This
through?
reminds me of that movie with Sinbad when he's playing golf,
I don't remember that one.
the 90s.
Oh my god, I don't know.
Did you see it go through the glass, or did you just hear it?
So just what happened last Thursday, I had no clue. I had never hit a ball so far left in my home course in my life.
Did people kind of laugh, or were they shocked, or
Now, usually when one goes off the tee like that, everybody just cringes, and you wait for the sound.
So everybody puts their head down.
Yeah.
But no, when I'm playing this tournament 2 years ago, I hit this ball and I slice, and he goes off, and the guy, it was just off the fairway, and the guy says, so he's trying to he's a young guy and he doesn't know who I am, and he says, so what do you do? I said, well, I have a home repair business. He goes, oh, so do you do these golf tournaments to promote business? Right after I had knocked it off somebody's roof, right? I'm like, seriously, you're asking me right now? He goes, I don't mean it like that. I'm like, don't worry, bud. I got you. But no, this glass shot, this thing was a rocket. I mean,
Listen, if
I can
somebody's
hit the
gonna
ball
do
hard.
that, I would be happy if they had the skill to fix it.
Yeah. Well, they were definitely not.
Did
gonna
you
be
just
happy.
tell them what the hell are you doing buying a house on a golf course?
We do. So here's
Why is your
here's-
house
They're
here?
out there
Right.
yelling at me, right?
Please.
They're out there yelling at me. Here's the best part. So my name obviously is Chris because you're listening to my podcast, and my playing partner comes up and goes, "Hey, Bill, I'll see you up there. Go ahead and change the names out with them." I'm like, I'm not doing that for us. So I did.
My
we did.
parents live on a golf course, and they tell me all the time all parts of their house gets damaged, like their air conditioner. I think it kind of comes with the territory.
It
That's-
does.
So I live in a golf course. There's a reason I don't live on a golf course
You
because
don't
I
live
was
on
not
a-
going to put my kids in bike helmets out there playing. in
No,
the
you
yard.
a
have
good
to be
idea.
behind the tee box to be on a golf course.
Oh yeah, there's
Yeah.
no way. I have no desire to be.
Now,
able
my
to do that.
in-laws-
They have those lanai things.
Yeah, but still, it doesn't matter. I can knock through that. So Jen, tell your mom and dad when I come play their course,
You're a danger.
get out the way.
Yeah, my in-laws live on a golf course, and I
find
mean
this
they are.
I don't care if you got a daughter's
They-
personal injury lawyer, it ain't going down
You
because
could
you
hit
can't find me.
somebody in the head.
I know. See, don't do that. I'm supposed to play tomorrow afternoon.
Now, my in-laws live on a golf course, and I mean they are dead right off the tee, and
They're
they're
dead right. Nice.
dead
call.
right. No, but I mean not like out and right. They are dead right.
Yeah.
It's
They
like
wanted to be a
it's like a
spectator.
shank off of with a driver, and their backyards are littered with golf balls, and their front yard too. And I'm like,
My dad
I don't
always
even know
has like
how you
a
can hit that
bin
shot.
of like 100 golf balls. He's
Yeah.
like, do you guys want these?
You know what's so funny is I think when I first started playing, and so I grew up playing on public courses. Here's the hard part. I've been playing since I was 7. And I did that.
I expect
Every
more,
once in a
Chris.
while.
Thank you. Do better.
Do
Thank you.
better.
Do better.
I have a
Back
daughter for
to
that.
the theme of the podcast, the Do Better podcast.
The Do Better podcast.
So I have a serious business question.
Go.
All right. So you had all these personal experiences.
Mhm.
This is driving me to be a lawyer. And then you get your first cases and it's you in the courtroom. And now you're a big deal, kind of a big deal.
No, you're not
Yeah.
a big deal
No,
at that point.
But you got look at it. She flips her hair.
No.
You got-
I'm
See-
like I was thinking you were going to say something else. Like,
Yeah, see-
now you're terrified.
So you got this staff. So
I
but-
didn't have a staff
but
in
you
the
have
beginning.
but you've got a big business now, and you've got 22 channels of marketing. How much time are you spending running your business versus practicing law?
80% running the business.
Nice.
So what? It just does it just have to be like a really juicy case for you to show up in the courtroom?
I mean, I'm the managing attorney. I would like to eventually hire a managing attorney, but I have other lawyers that work there, and I sit with them and we strategize on, their cases, and we roundtable a lot of cases with all the lawyers in the law firm. But it's better, you get better results when you have more lawyers,
So how many lawyers do you have now?
5.
And how many assistants, paralegals?
We have like a total of 38 people.
Oh my gosh, look at that. I'm
Man.
at 44. She's got me. Wow.
Well, no, I'm saying 38, like, so 5 of them are lawyers. So
5 lawyers, and then everybody else is
Our minions.
Well, not minions.
no, there's amazing. I
Alan.
have like
Alan, we're trying to build skills up here, people. I don't think everybody has to go to school anymore. I just got done saying this. We're actually sponsoring the Skills USA thing this year in Nari, and so I'm going to be part of that. I especially today. I think a lot of kids just need to go to trade school.
Yeah,
Stop.
we're seeing that trend actually. A lot less people wanting to go to college, but I have other people. The lawyers are not like the leadership in the firm. They are, leaders, but we have an entire C-suite. So we have a COO.
She is running this thing like a business, bro.
Serious business.
Listen to this though, right? She's not just a lawyer who just kind of backed her way in. So back to the E-Myth, the E-Myth.
I love that book.
Right. So if you ever fancy yourself the perfect technician, you have not. I can tell you're not the best lawyer. I don't love to practice law.
The crazy thing is I'm a really, really amazing lawyer. But it's because I'm very relentless. And if you give me anything, I'll master it. I'm an amazing negotiator. I'm really good with the clients. Because I have been in the position of the client myself, and I've been the person that's grieved someone who's lost. I think I bring that to the table where a lot of lawyers really don't understand. This is not just a case. This is someone's life.
Right.
And I bring like that compassion, and sometimes they bring me in for that. Some of the stuff I don't love about being a lawyer is some of the really technical stuff. Like there's aspects of lawyering where you can win on a technicality if you know the rules well enough. Those are not my favorite parts of being a lawyer, but they're needed. Like you can have a case where you can have terrible facts and you can basically get some of that evidence excluded. That's like a tricky way to win cases, And I think there's lawyers that work for me that are much better at that than me, but I am a really good lawyer. It's just, I always knew there's only like a level of scalability to being the technician.
I agree with that. I think what she said was awesome because I'm going to jump in because I can practice law. I know law. So when I hire somebody and they say something, I can go bullshit.
Exactly.
Right. And you can't fake me. Right. If you want to prove it to me, you can do it. But I can go back to running my business and I can divorce myself from being in your business as long as you can tell me you know how to run your business. That's huge.
But the other thing is I'm very open to people coming to work for me that are much smarter lawyers than me. Like I would love that. I want that. I seek that. Actually, that's like something I'm working on right now.
That's a rare quality in a leader.
I want people that are smarter than me. I want people that I would take a lawyer that's been working for 20 years.
Don't look at me when you're saying that. Alan.
School me on something.
I would too,
Please.
because they're going to be horrible business people.
I don't even.
There'll be great lawyers.
I just
because
want
that's
them
what
to
they
be
want to
a
do.
great lawyer.
Because I mean, have you ever met somebody who just really loves the law?
Well, think about
And I
this.
have, by the
To
way.
be a great lawyer, you have to be really good at running through all the scenarios of risk. And I'm a risk taker. So I look before I will leap. A lot of lawyers are not geared to be risk takers, right? So the skills that it takes to be a great entrepreneur are typically not the skills it takes to be a great lawyer. It's just the nature of it.
Yeah. All right. Now, Alan, you can ask your question.
Oh, that's really interesting. Well, I'm just thinking of the 80-20 thing and
The Pareto principle.
yeah, well, do you kind of wish it weren't skewed that much towards running your business, or you
No, I
actually-
love the running the business parts. That's my favorite parts.
So the 20% keeps you sharp though.
Yeah, and like I said, I think like I have to be nimble and adaptable, and there's times when I have to do more than that, and there's times when you lose a lawyer and then I got to take on their caseload, and like I always want to be able to provide the services that my business, does, but my highest and best use is being the CEO.
There you go.
Is your dad still alive?
Yeah.
What does he think of you now?
He keeps asking me why I don't have a private plane yet.
Oh, I love
He's
your,
not.
I love your dad. That's so funny.
Just
No,
never
To the
good enough.
Supreme Court. I took him. I got
Oh.
sworn into the United
I
States
s-
Supreme Court.
all right, let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, that
You've
was
been
cool.
sworn into the Supreme Court. You know how few lawyers do that?
It's hard
And
to get, right?
I don't know
Yeah.
that.
So let me brag for you. That's pretty cool, right?
Tell
You
me
got-
that.
Fun
I
experience.
don't know what.
So to become so there's law, and then there's law. And then 1, 2, 3, right? And so
So you have to get sworn into the United States Supreme Court in DC, where the Supreme Court justices are presiding. You have to be in good standing in your state, and you have to be a lawyer for a certain number of years, and you have to get other lawyers to sponsor you, which was actually easy because I was the alumni president of my law school. So I had a lot of connections, and, I met all the criteria. And so in December, it was so cool. I got to go to DC in, a beautiful time of the year, the holiday season. And we got to sit with all the Supreme Court justices and hear a case. And, we were like 3 feet away from all of those iconic people. I took my dad, and he was like crying, and he was really excited, and he was more excited than me, I feel like. But I did that last year, and I also took him to the Inc. 5000, which was really cool because he had never been to the award ceremony. So
Nice.
when we went to the Inc. 5000,
But you had to fly commercial.
well, we flew first class, but
yeah, I mean, I love that. So I don't know about you, Jen, but I'm a proud man, and I can also tell you that I've also been through therapy, and the therapist is still not sure why I can't understand why I don't need my dad's approval, because my dad has always said that. Great job,
great.
but
Do you
great
find
job, but
that your dad
job, but-
brags to you about you to other people, but never would say that to you?
Right,
Jen,
right.
Jen, let me help you. Yes, I know he is. I know he does.
People
'Cause-
tell me that. They're like, your dad's in front of you. I'm
Yeah,
like,
so I'm supremely proud of my daughter, but I will never tell her that. Not until
he's recently told me, like, I've done a lot of personal development stuff too. I think it's really critical to continually do personal development as an entrepreneur, because you
Right.
have to continue growing, and therapy, all this stuff. But I am in a good place with my dad, but there was like 2 years where I didn't talk to him.
Yeah, that's not cool. But I get you, and I know what you're doing.
There's
and,
sometimes you have to reestablish your adult relationship with your parent, especially if they've pushed you on your own terms. And I think that that's healthy,
yeah, I've been very blessed, actually, and I say blessed, and I hate it when people say that, but my parents they were very faith-based Catholic people, and they helped me a ton. But I've had to wrestle with a lot of demons in my entire life, and ended up. And Alan and I have talked about this.
But
You have to be an adult, and sometimes I had to go to therapy.
Listen,
I did.
I've
I am.
gotten to the place where I think pressure is a privilege. And I think that everything that my parents, did or didn't do or whatever, it created me to who I am. And I wouldn't have this mentality if I wasn't, like, diamonds aren't created under,
I hear you.
I think she just
Casual.
named this podcast.
Diamonds are created under pressure.
No, pressure is a privilege.
Pressure is a freaking privilege.
Pressure is a privilege. All right, Michael, knock that down. Pressure is a privilege. All right, guys, and I can't even say it because we're coming to the end. I hate this because
that was so quick.
I know, right? We're having so much fun and we're digging in and we're about to start digging into therapy. Ooh, we're going.
Yeah, we don't need to get it. But I just think it is good to know that, like you're saying, you have all this ambition, but you also have the dark side to it.
I do. Yeah, no, that's something I didn't learn until late in life. And I had to figure it out. That's for sure. And that's something I will share with everybody out there. You know, it's hard to deal with what you're doing. You think you're doing the right thing. You start your business, you do it, and you're just driving so hard. And I swear to God, if there was an obstacle in front of me, I tried to figure out 1000% a way to go drive right through it. And I had to do that. And therapy helped me with a lot of things, my relationships, my family, 100%.
Because you can't be that person all the time with your family.
You can't.
Right.
Right.
You drive everyone crazy.
I guess
Chris looks at me.
As Alan knows me way too well, and he's heard the story. And yes, we're doing this today. We're doing this from my basement, overlooking the beautiful pool that we have. But that was not always there, and we did not always have a beautiful relationship with this house. So we do it. So we roll through it. All right, let's go. We got started. We got to do the 4 last questions, don't we?
I think we need to set up another appointment with your therapist.
I know.
Yeah, but then 4 questions.
All right, 4 questions.
Yep.
Jen, you read a lot of books. What is the favorite book you would refer to somebody right now?
Oh, so my go-to original favorite book is Think and Grow Rich.
Nice. Great call.
Napoleon Hill. I think that book, you can read it time and time again, and you'll come up with different, perspectives based on where you are.
When was that book written?
1923.
Oh, whoop.
Wow.
Could you have named that?
No, I couldn't have. So what has that book meant to you?
Do you guys know what that book is?
Yeah, 100%.
That book studied the most successful people in the world at that time over a 20-year period. And there's kind of like a secret message in it, and you have to kind of figure it out based on reading the book. And there's like certain principles that I live by through that book, which is like manifesting things and drawing like success into your life. And it's just a lot of good things that, like you were talking earlier, there's principles that are universal, right? Timeless
Universal principles. In the 1920, last I checked, they didn't have iPhones.
No.
Did they have the internet?
No.
How about a telephone?
No.
Yep. So look at that. Those same principles you learned from Napoleon Hill at that time are still here today. And people don't want to embrace that. But we just talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Right. The handshake, the eye contact. Yeah.
It's timeless. I mean, that book was written over 20 years, and he studied all these people who were really successful, like Vanderbilts and,
right.
And he distilled it down.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right. What's your favorite feature of your house?
My pool.
Of course it is. I do know this because we're Facebook friends, and she has young kids, and I have a pool in my backyard, and I did not do this when they were young because I resisted it. I said I didn't want to have it.
Okay.
And I blew it.
I'm telling you, I had so many people have opinions when you put in a pool, right? Everyone, oh, I don't like a pool. I do like a pool. I do think it does matter the age of your family. And it is an incredible thing for young kids because they're in there for like 8 hours a day. I mean,
yeah, just wait. You're going to be the house all the kids want to go to.
Then the party house and all that. And I
think want to be that party house.
You want to be the place the kids want to go. But in addition to that, what I love, since you're in home services, it has added living space to our house, because now we never wanted to sit in our backyard looking at a dirt hill. I mean, what the hell?
Exactly right.
So, and also every day when my pool is positioned like right outside my kitchen, and like I look out my window every day, we have like a little waterfall thing. It's a huge up level to the experience of living in the house.
I love that you have that. I think that's amazing. I did it when my daughter was a junior in high school.
So you still got all that?
I did. We had a great time. In fact, we became the house.
The house.
And we were, my kids went to a private school, so a lot of the kids had to travel here, and so we allowed them all to stay here in the finished basement that we're all hanging out with.
God knows what happened down here.
Jen. we did do I'll tell you what, you want a
He
gold
has
nugget?
cameras.
You
He has
want-
cameras.
No, I can't do that either. But you want a gold nugget? We did do the everybody had to drop their keys off and their phones off upstairs.
Isn't that like a totally different type of party?
Yeah. Whoops. Well, I didn't think about it like that, but yeah, I thought I was doing the right thing. I
So
was trying to be a good
question
Catholic
3,
dad,
Chris.
and I was down there cooking all the time too, going, hey, what are you guys doing with the hot tub? What? No, wait, hang on. I'm like, damn it.
Teenagers and pools.
I was, actually,
But you recommend people to get a pool because
I would.
there are people that were like,
'cause-
you shouldn't get a pool. It's
No,
too much maintenance. It's too much this.
I'm the pool boy. I am the pool boy, but I wanted us to be the party house because I knew I could control it.
But do you think that having a pool is too much work? I don't.
No,
That's a myth.
I wish we'd have done it.
So
way
when you're the
earlier.
pool boy, you're out there kind of flexing a little bit.
I am.
Are you the
Yeah.
lifeguard?
I'm the
Yeah.
pool boy.
I'm
You're
the
the
pool boy. I go by speed. No, we're wrong. I do it all by myself.
How's that working
Nobody
for
look
you, Chris?
I put my rock music on out there. I rock it out. In fact, I'm the one who resisted it for years, and now that
And
we
now
have
it's
it,
your thing.
and now I'm out there more than everybody. Yeah,
That's how it
because-
goes.
Yeah, because
So if you don't have a pool and you're on the fence, I'm telling you, you will not regret it.
gold nugget. All right, let's
Love
go.
it.
But
All
you
right.
gotta get a
Jen, when
Cool.
you're out there and you're getting serviced, you're out there buying something, going to a restaurant, whatever. What's a customer service pet peeve of yours? Because we are customer service
Freaks.
Hello.
what's a pet peeve of mine? Okay, so you guys still shop in like a department store or anything like that? Like if you had to go to buy clothes or something?
Yeah.
Think of the last time you did that.
Well, Ellen's told the Nordstrom story a lot, but
Yeah.
Like Nordstrom or whatever. You've been to those, or
Sure.
your wife
Me?
buying
Yeah,
you
yeah,
these
absolutely.
clothes?
yeah, no, I'm out
Yeah.
now. Yeah, I'm done.
So
I hate that.
I don't like when I go to a department store or like a store and like people are just so aggressive and they're hovering on me. They think they're doing customer service, but they're not reading the person. I think with
Ooh.
customer service, you need to read the person and their body language. And if they're like, I'm good, you need to dial it back, because there's been scenarios where they will chase me out of the store. They're coming up to me with 30 different clothes. You should try this on. This is, I'm like, I'm good. You're overwhelming
It's
me.
funny because you know what we hear most of the time? You go into a restaurant, make eye contact with me.
Yeah.
Go to a
You need to
restaurant,
read the
acknowledge
person.
me. But
Read
you
the
know
person.
what Jen just brought up is
You can-
exactly read
The
person.
opposite. You can overdo it. And especially like in a restaurant, you need that person to get your service. But there's other stores, especially like you go to like a Bath and Body Works or like a store where the person is perfectly fine to get their own items, or like a grocery store. And if you have someone aggressively chasing you around, it can really stress the person out.
I would have to say if I went into my Publix and somebody was just behind me the
Chasing
whole
you around.
time.
It's
You
like,
need this
Girl.
cheese, Chris.
Girl.
back off.
Number one, I'm the shopper in the family. I'm here all the time. Back off. I know the aisles.
Yeah,
Okay,
like,
girl.
can I help you?
Yeah.
Can I help you? I'm like,
Oh, that's
dude.
funny. That's a hard one to pull back on because we've heard all too often. Make eye contact with me. Let me know I'm ready.
Imagine you do that in a grocery store.
All right, I'd be freaked out. I'd probably walk out the door.
I
I don't
have
care how good
literally
looking she is. I'd
left.
probably go, no, gotta go.
Would you like this item? Would you like this
Oh, I
item?
hit the
Would you
road.
like-
Oh my God, that's funny. That's great. It's true though, isn't it?
Yeah,
apply
absolutely.
all things to all businesses. If you're doing great customer
There's
service,
the nugget.
you can't. The person does not need that level of customer service.
That's good stuff. Hey, can I help you try those underwear on? No,
How-
back off.
like, I'm taking your groceries to your car.
Actually, I always say no.
I'm like, no. They think, but
Please.
I want to give you service.
Can I interest you in a lean cuisine, Chris?
Hey, are you calling me fat? Damn it, Alan.
Just
All right.
mildly obese.
Yeah.
Hey, I am obese. I'm not even slightly overweight. I told you, I'm not even moderately over. No, I actually got hit.
You aspire to be
I-
moderately overweight.
That's my new. That's gonna be all right. So Jen doesn't know this.
Yeah.
So I just went into a physical, and they've lowered the weight
The
limits.
standards?
And I'm a 6'2" guy, right? But I put on a few pounds. But I also play football, and I'm actually
You look
still-
good, Chris.
I'm still
Come
20 pounds
on.
under my football weight,
Yeah.
but that's a different story because I usually carry a lot less. And she goes, "Hey, your A1C is a little high." I said, well, how is it tracked? She goes, "Well, we haven't been tracking it, but because you're in the obese category, we are." I'm like, "Do what?" I looked at her too, and she's this little older lady, and I'm like
You
ready
fell
to,
off.
I was ready to jump at her, and I mean, obviously you guys can't see me. You'll see me on YouTube. I mean, I'm 6'2", I'm 235, and
Those
I
are
work
fighting
out.
words right
I'm
there.
like, girl, what? And she goes, yeah, if you lose 10 pounds, you'll be solidly overweight. So I told Ellen, I said, my new workout
There's an
shirt,
aspiration.
because I go to the gym. I go to the gym like 4 times a week. I said, my new workout shirt's going to be, I'm striving for solidly overweight.
It's a new day here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get a trainer.
Yeah, I know.
That's my other key hack.
Actually, yeah, that's good for you. No, actually, I just
He
need to
goes,
stop-
that's good for you.
good for you, but I just need to stop eating and drinking. And that's,
80% what you eat, right?
well, you can't outrun the fork when you're my age. I'm old, Jim.
I love it.
Lord.
All right, last question. And this
Uh,
is my favorite one. I want a DIY nightmare story in the house. And we like
dismemberment,
Oh,
Blood.
God.
explosions, fire, smoke, electrocution. I'm kind
water.
water.
Have
Yep.
all these happened? to you?
flooding.
Not-
Yeah.
not-
As
you
Chris
guys-
looks his fingers, which aren't
Fingers
pointing
still
in
there.
the right direction.
So yeah, the
Yeah.
figure's a little off. Actually, those were all football stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
No, actually, that was a fingernail.
Yeah,
I
Chris
shot
has
a
a
nail.
habit of holding onto a piece of wood and shooting a nail gun into it that
That's
goes
not what-
through the wood into his finger.
no
the
good.
hand clamp. Not good. Yeah, don't worry. I
You
run
follow
a
your
handyman
digits
company.
right now.
I
We're
do.
lucky.
Thank God, I do. Yeah.
Well, it's because
I
he shot them together with a nail gun.
My fingers. I've never cut the saw. Never got through my finger.
Yeah,
I can say that.
Thank God. Oh,
I can't say that blood wasn't flying everywhere, but it never made it all the way to the finger.
knocking on wood.
I have a lot of DIY things from back in the day. When I was in law school, we bought a house in Roswell that was the cheapest house in Roswell you could actually buy. It was $112,000, which you can't find a house like that
God,
today.
what is that house worth today?
It's worth like 300.
Okay.
Wow.
Now, that house we had to tear top to bottom. It was owned by a trust and it was like infested with cockroaches.
Ick.
You know, when these houses down in the South get left, they get bad.
They go back to nature real quick.
So we were so excited. And we had to do a lot of the work ourselves because I was in law school and it was, brutal. We, didn't pick all the right,
You keep saying we.
me and my husband.
Oh, he was involved then.
And I'm not handy at all. So it was mainly on him.
Oh, nice.
And
This is the
the-
Angus DIY night.
Yeah, I mean,
All
I
right, I
did
wanna
a
hear
few
it.
things,
What did he do?
but
Did you build the house up?
the house, one of the biggest mistakes we made is we put down, do you remember that time when it like really dark wood floors was a thing, like almost
yeah.
black?
Yeah.
Oh,
When was that, like in
Onyx.
2009?
Yeah.
is that not a thing anymore?
No, it's coming back to the middle.
Okay,
Definitely
do
is not
not
right
do
over.
it ever because we put that damn flooring down and I will tell you, it showed everything. This flooring, you could walk across the floor in your slippers and you would see footprints. I mean, this was like if you have a black car, a black piano. I mean, this flooring was the bane of my existence, and we were so excited. We must have been on sale, and so we put that flooring in. It was a nightmare. We had to actually end up ripping it out. And I would just say anyone with a dark floor, do not ever do. Is that your advice as well?
Yeah, so dark floor is not so good because it sounds good, but they start showing so much.
They
And,
show immediately and they
and so-
scuff and scratch and
Yep. And we actually, my family, and in fact, my kids will tell you they're on their way to therapy because we've never had a pet in our house. Even though
because I had 2 dogs. They tore this floor up.
they
Oh,
tore that
man.
floor up, and that hair was everywhere.
And the
You
fur,
saw-
and it was like
So it's a DIY
dust.
nightmare. Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
not
saying-
dismemberment. It's
I
not
mean, it's
necessarily.
definitely not dismemberment or anything like that. But I'm just saying, when you're novice and you don't know what you're picking and you're just randomly DIYing stuff, you have no idea the pitfalls of the things you're choosing. And I think when you hire a professional, they can say, "Hey, listen, I put this floor in, not good."
Now she hit it on. So I'm going to pitch myself for a minute because I agree with you. Am I going to go represent myself in a personal injury law case? No. Am I going to
Go
represent
pick your
myself?
own flooring? Nah.
Yeah. So you want to do that? There's a reason that you go with professionals. I just had somebody tell us the other day, I'm gonna go with somebody else. I'm like, that's a great call. You know, I'm gonna do this one myself. I'm like, awesome. You guys go remodel your bathroom yourself. I'm great at it. I'm like, I'm sure you are. As a guy who's done tile and knows how to do it, no, that's not happening. All right.
Yeah.
Jen, this has been awesome, but we have got to close this up. But before we do that,
So sad.
I know it is. So
need to
we
do it
are not
again.
going to look at billboards on podcasts. We can't see radio ads. We can't see TV ads. We can't see any of them, by the way. So how can we find you online? How can we get in touch with you and keep following you and your business ascent, because you are on your way up?
Gorepayne.com.
Yeah. If only I've made better decisions. My law firm is Atlanta Personal Injury Law Group. You can find us at www.atlinjurylawgroup.com. My email, Jennifer@atlinjurylawgroup. You can just search us on social media, and I'm sure you'll find us on all the platforms: LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Let's go TikTok, baby.
Oh, God.
Huh?
We're gonna have to get you guys on TikTok.
I'm on
No.
it, baby. I'm on it.
It's
All right.
been a couple episodes since we've talked about TikTok.
I
so,
know.
yeah,
I'm excited.
I know.
All right,
It might be banned soon, so
all right. Oh, even better. I want to be with the banned personal injury lawyer.
Bad
This could
boy.
be good. All right. This has been amazing. I'll tell you what, Jen, continued success going up the mountaintop. If you guys haven't learned something from today and what's going down and how you can do things, you may not have to start with a business plan, but you definitely have to figure out how you're going to take the brand, how you're going to scale it up, how you're going to become the CEO of your business and not be the guy in your business being that great technician. Go figure it out. Make it happen. And we're going to tech you out next time. Here we go. We're out of here.
Cheers.
cheers.